Fourth graders, Mrs. Smith here with your lesson for today. We are talking about claims today and how to support a claim with reasons and evidence. In order to be successful on this lesson, you're going to need this page out of your benchmark packet. It is page number 3. Okay. You're also going to need your benchmark book with this article opened up. Hopefully at this point you have already read this passage and have become familiar with it. It's called Seattle Up and Down and Up Again. You needed this for yesterday's lesson with Mr. Tillish, so I'm hoping that you've already read it. And we are specifically focusing today on paragraph number 4. Okay, just paragraph number 4 is actually all we're going to be focusing on. So if you want to go ahead and pause this video now and reread paragraph 4 just to refresh your memory, I think that would be a great idea. And then when you're ready, you can resume the video and be ready with this worksheet in front of you. Okay, so what we're going to talk about first is the directions up here. They say when authors make claims or points, sometimes we call a claim a point, they support them with reasons and evidence, or at least they should. We're going to reread paragraph 4, which you just did, of Seattle Up and Down and Up Again. And then we're going to decide what claim the author makes. What reasons and evidence does the author of this passage use to support their claim? So you might be saying, Mrs. Smith, what is a claim? So a claim is when an author makes a statement that they believe to be true. They're saying, this is a fact, let me prove it to you. Okay, so we're going to look in paragraph 4 for the claim or the statement of fact that the author presents. What are they telling you is the truth, right? What kind of like what opinion are they presenting to you? And then they're going to support it with reasons or evidence, okay? So the first thing we're going to look for is the claim. So what is the author of this passage saying is true? What are they telling me? Probably what are they telling me about Seattle that they believe to be true? So go ahead and look very closely at paragraph 4 and find the part where the author is telling you this is what I believe is true. They are presenting it to you as a fact. Okay, I'm hoping that you found it. And the part of this paragraph, and it's likely at the beginning, is usually where they state their claim, is that Seattle became a boom or bust town, right? At the beginning of this paragraph, they tell me, they say, hey, reader, guess what? Seattle became a boom or bust town, okay? And you might be wondering, what does that mean? And we're actually going to get into it with the reasons and examples. So they're telling me Seattle became a boom or bust town. So I'm going to take that section of this sentence and I'm going to write it in my little notepad here where it says claim. So go ahead and write that sentence down here. All right, so here we go. I have it written down in here in my quotation marks to cite my text evidence. And I also noted that I found that information in paragraph 4. So my next part is I need to find out how this author backs up their claim. What do they tell me so that I believe them? What do they tell me is a reason that they believe Seattle is a boom or bust town? And then a second one. Okay, in this case, they're telling me that first, Seattle became a boom town, right? And think about what a boom town might mean. And I'll tell you, a boom town is when the economy of a city explodes, right? There, something really, really great happens, okay? And then bust is the opposite. If a town busts or their economy busts, it gets ruined or something bad happens that maybe that town isn't making as much money anymore. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look closely at paragraph 4 and see what 2 pieces of text evidence or what 2 reasons the author of this passage uses to support the boom or bust town claim. So I'll tell you right now that there is an example about how it is a boom town, and then there is an example about how it is a bust town. And I'm trying to zoom in for you. There we go. Okay, so let's first look at the sentences that follow the claim and see if we can find some evidence. So the next sentence reads, in the 1980s, a nationwide depression crippled Seattle's economy. Now, crippled means crumbled, destroyed, ruined. And what did I just tell you? Is boom or bust an example of that? Exactly, bust. Okay. So if their economy gets ruined by this crippling depression, that's a bad thing, but it supports the fact that the author is telling me that Seattle was a boom or bust town. So this is the bust example. So over here, I'm just going to write that example here. And I'm going to shorten it a little bit. I'm going to write in the 1890s. So I'm just going to write 1890s. Okay. Oh, we are blurry. Let's see if we can clear up a little bit. There we go. 1890s, a nationwide depression crippled Seattle's economy. All right. And I'm also going to write in little brackets over here the word bust, because this is an example of how Seattle was a bust town. Okay, so if you need to pause the video and copy this down, go ahead and do so. So going back to my passage, I'm going to remind myself, and I'm going to underline this. And then I'm going to draw a note in my margin and write bust. Okay, remember, bust is bad. The economy goes down, something bad happens, they lose a lot of money, maybe businesses are suffering, right? You can kind of compare that to what's going on right now. A lot of our local businesses are suffering because of the coronavirus. So right now, we're not going to call ourselves a total bust town, but when something horrible happens, like the coronavirus or like a depression, where a lot of people lose their jobs, the economy suffers. We don't make as much money. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So this is a great example considering what we're going through. Okay, but then again, we can start talking about the boom side of this boom or bust, right? So the boom could be what happens after it, right? We have this really bad thing happen where our economy takes a tank and we don't make as much money. And then all of a sudden, look here, the Klondike Gold Rush began. Okay. So you know a lot about information about the gold rush and how much money that brought in, right? So we already know that this is a good thing. It says Seattle, so it says Klondike Gold Rush. I'm going to underline that. And then Seattle became the main supplier for thousands of miners who came to Alaska. Seattle was a boom town once again, right? So all of these people are flooding not only to California, but now they're flooding to Washington and Alaska to mine for gold. And so in this case, they are coming through Seattle on their way to Alaska to do that mining. And so coming through Seattle, that means that all of a sudden, the people that work in Seattle and sell mining supplies are probably doing really well. And the restaurants and businesses that would entertain people that are visiting on their way to Alaska, restaurants and stuff like that, those people are going to make money. So this is an example here of how it became boomtown again. Okay, so I'm going to do that same thing that I did the first time, and I'm going to write my piece of evidence here that supports the author's claim. This time, just like up here, I'm going to write the year to start. I'm going to say in the it was 1897. And it was the Klondike Gold Rush that started this. I'm going to write Klondike Gold Rush began, right? And this led to Seattle becoming the main supplier of lots of the stuff that miners need. Okay, so the main supplies for thousands of miners. So that's what we're going to write. Seattle became for thousands of miners. And then just like last time in a bracket, I'm going to write the word boom. because this is my boom example. So, like I said before, when an author or a person makes a claim, right, a statement that they're trying to prove to you is true, they're saying this is the fact, they should always be backing that up with reasons or evidence as to why. And so in this case, our author said Seattle became a boom or bust town, and then immediately provided me with an example of how it was a bust and then how it was a boom. And that is what great writers do. And so I know that you guys will do that in your future writing also when you're trying to make a claim, right? Immediately follow it up with some good reasons and good evidence so that we believe you. Okay, so the last thing here is your question. It says in paragraph 6, the author writes that today Seattle is up and booming again. What evidence does the author give to support this claim? Choose 2 answers. So you can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 choices here. And they're asking specifically in paragraph 6. So you're going to have to look, and we're blurry again. You're going to have to look in paragraph 6. We're going to find that claim. Seattle is up and booming again. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, and this time my evidence is going to be before the claim. Okay, so what 2 pieces of evidence and what 2 reasons do they put in here that prove to me that Seattle is up and booming again? Remember, booming is good. So what is going on in Seattle that means that it is up and booming again? So go ahead and read paragraph 6, and then you can go ahead and circle your answer choices. Okay, so now that you've read paragraph 6, we're going to go ahead and look at those answer choices. So remember, we're looking for boom reasons. So here in choice A, it says Boeing. Boeing is a company that makes airplanes. So it says Boeing was forced to lay off more than 40,000 workers. When someone gets laid off, it means that they have to leave their job. And so when we were talking about people losing their jobs, was that a boom or a bust? This was a bust. So I know that that's not it because this question is asking me about booming. Okay. I didn't read anything about railroads in paragraph 6. So I know that's not it. Seattle gained 1,000 new residents. That sounds like a good thing, but I also did not read that in paragraph 6. Cross that one out. Boeing has been part of Seattle's growth along with Microsoft and other high-tech companies. I do remember reading that here. Okay, so if the economy of Seattle is benefiting from the production of airplanes and Microsoft makes all sorts of computer and tech devices, right? That's a great thing for Seattle. So that would be a great example of booming. I hope you selected that choice. The Klondike Gold Rush we know is an example of booming, but did we read about it in paragraph 6? Nope. And then they were joined by the coffee chain Starbucks. I know how many of you 4th graders are drinking Starbucks, right? Lay off the Frappuccinos, you guys. It's so much sugar. But think about how much people love Starbucks, right? And I read about that here. Starbucks is a huge company that makes a lot of money, and that's great for Seattle's economy. Okay, so the correct choices for this question here at the bottom were D and F. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little lesson on claims and supporting them with reasons and evidence. Please let your teacher, or of course myself, if I'm not your regular teacher, you're more than welcome to reach out to me also. If you have any questions or you want to talk about anything else, we are here to help you. So I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you next time.